Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do a Pilates workout that you can do at home. Just realised I've probably worn this jumper in like the last 3 videos. I promise I've washed it. So it's only going to be about 15 minutes. So if you could just warm yourself up, do a bit of stretching, mobility before we begin, and then we'll jump straight into the workout. So if you take yourself onto all fours, you want your hands directly underneath your shoulders and your knees directly underneath your hips. It's quite hard without a mirror there to see. I'm not perfect here either. And we're going to do this Superman. So you literally extend opposite arms and legs. What you're really trying to do is keep those hips facing the mat. So if you think of 2 headlights on either hips, you don't want those hips to be rotating as your leg comes up, and you want to keep as little movement in your back as possible. So we're keeping a really nice strong core. You're thinking of lengthening your arms and legs away from each other and keeping that neck nice and long as well. So just keep everything nice and tight, lots of control. And then we're just going to hold that position there before we take it into some pulses. So this just forces us to really concentrate on keeping those hips round, keeping the back flat, moving from the hip joint rather than moving the whole back as we pulse. So I think we're doing about 5 each side. So take your time switching to the other side. And then we're just gently pulsing up and down, keeping those hips facing the mat. Nice tight core. There we go. And then just gently controlling it back in. So nice flat back, you're just going to tuck the toes under, lift the knees off the floor, and we're just going to hold it in this plank variation here. So you want to be doing nice deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, and keeping that core nice and tight and the back really nice and flat. So just holding it there. Gently drop the knees to the floor and then send your bum back to your heels. Walk your hands forward and just get a nice stretch of the spine. And then take yourself back up. We're going to step both legs back into a full plank, and we're just going to hold that there really nice and strong, keeping the core nice and tight, back flat again, and just holding it there. Deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Once you feel comfortable there, we're just going to take opposite legs just off the mat, nice and long, again keeping that back nice and flat. Try not to let it dip as you take the legs up. Good, we're going to do 2 each leg. And then carefully drop the knees down to the mat and send the bum back to the heels and just stretch it out once again in that position. We're going to take ourselves onto our tummies and work our lower back now. So here we're doing the dart. So if you just place your hands directly underneath your head, keeping your legs on the floor, we're engaging the bum muscles, we're engaging the stomach muscles, lengthening the neck, we're just lifting our chest and shoulders off the mat, nice and controlled, up and down just for a few pulses so you just feel that lower back. So only go as far as you can manage, and if this is too much for you, then just do the exact same thing but with your hands still flat on the floor. So really try to keep those legs on the mat here. We're then going to take the arms above our heads, lift both the legs and the shoulders off the mat, and here we're going to paddle. So this is swimming, so you literally are swimming. You can breaststroke or front crawl here, whatever you fancy, but keeping those glute muscles turned on, keeping the stomach muscles, and then gently control it back down. We're just going to take a bit of a back stretch here. So if you just go back onto all fours, you're going to take it into the cat. So we're just flexing and arching our back each way. Just warm the back up again after that. Just do a few of those. Make sure we're breathing. And then take ourselves back down onto our tummies. We're going to do some press up variations here. So we're keeping the elbows tucked in really nice and tight to our sides, elbows facing that back wall, and then we're lowering ourselves back down. So we're working our arms, but we've also got a nice back stretch in here as well. Again, we want to be keeping the neck nice and long and feeling all the weight in the front of our body, so in our arms. Enjoy the stretch on the way up as well. Take it nice and steady. Again, if this is too much for you, if you can't go up quite as far because your back or your arms aren't quite there, just take it up to where you can and then control it back down. A few more of these. And then take the bum back to the heels again for a nice stretch there. If you just turn yourself onto your bum now, sitting up nice and tall, we're going to do some roll downs. So we're squeezing the tummy nice and tight and we're rolling down the spine one vertebra at a time until we're eventually laid fully flat. And then we're leading with the head again. So if we breathe out as we come up, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze those stomach muscles and sit up really nice and tall in between each one. Again, if you can't quite make it all the way down to the mat without your legs coming off the floor, just go down to where you can get to. Everything's always scalable. So breathing out as we come up, nice flat back in between each rep, and slowly back down. We just hug the knees to the chest here and just rock from side to side, massage the lower spine. Next, if you just take the hands behind the head and lift the neck and shoulders off the mat, keep your elbows right out to the side so open up the chest. And we're just going to put individual toe taps on the mat, making sure the middle part of the back is really flat into the mat and we're really squeezing those stomach muscles. So remember to breathe here, in through the nose, out through the mouth, keeping the core really nice and tight and keeping that back really nice and flat into the mat. So just the neck and shoulders off. And then just hug the knees to the chest again. And then we're going to take them back up, lifting the neck and shoulders off, keeping the hands by the sides, and we're just going to pulse and breathe. If this is too challenging for you, just take your legs bent and do the exact same thing, but with the legs in the bent position. And if you want to make it slightly harder, you can take your legs closer towards the floor. The main thing is just to keep that middle part of the back flat on the mat. So deep breaths, and then just hug the knees to the chest again. Rock from side to side, and just take a second. Legs are going up to the ceiling, hands going back behind the neck, elbows out again, and we're just doing a sit up towards our legs. So breathe out as you come up and breathe in to come down. Good, keeping those elbows right out to the sides. Few more reps. And then just hug the knees to the chest again. Massage the spine by rocking side to side. We're going to go back into our 100. So same as before, if you need your legs bent, that's absolutely fine. If not, keep them nice and straight. We're breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, and we're going to count for 10. Squeezing those stomach muscles into the mat, keeping the body really nice and strong. Remembering to breathe and then relax. You can stretch yourself nice and long. Going to come onto our side now. So you want to be making sure you're in a long straight line and your hips are stacked straight on top of each other. So you're not rolling backwards or forwards, and you can use that arm in front of you for support. So we're just literally lifting the leg up and down, and if you want to make it a bit harder, like I'm demonstrating here, you can lift your underneath leg as well and just have that hovering above the ground. So keep those hips really nice and stacked and just lift up and down. If you want to make it even more challenging, just take that arm to your side so you're using your core rather than relying on your hand for balance. Then we're just going to pulse that leg, so hold the stomach muscles nice and tight, and we're just literally pulsing that leg up and down, keeping our hips stacked. Sorry, I look so scary at this point. And then just stretch that leg across and put your hands in your head. We're going to lift that underneath leg, so keep a flexed foot, and we're just working the adductors by drawing that leg up towards the ceiling as high as we can. I'm sorry I look so miserable, I'm not quite sure why. Pilates should make you happy, I'm not quite sure why I'm I'm sulking here. But yeah, just lift that leg nice and high. Still think about your stomach muscles. Make sure you're squeezing them nice and tight. And then we're just going to hold it in a minute at the top. Deep breaths. Keep it nice and high. Don't worry if it shakes. Really good one for runners this. And then control it back down. Take yourself onto your back. Just give yourself a stretch. We're going to go into our 100 again. You can tell I love these. We're doing so many. Back flat on the mat, and we're just breathing and squeezing the core. Really nice and tight. Deep breaths. Almost there. And relax. So the knees to the chest, and then we're going to go over onto the other side. So we're repeating the exact same thing on the other side now. So again, position yourself so you're in a nice long straight line with the hips stacked directly on top of each other. Again, if you want to make it harder, you can lift that underneath leg just off the mat, and we're just raising that leg up and down. If you feel like your spine is out of line because your head is no longer in line, you can put a little block under your head if you want. I could probably do with one here, but I'm just making do with my arm. And then we're going to pulse just like we did on the other side. So again, you can take that arm away if you want a bit more. If you want to challenge your balance a bit more, challenge your core. And we're just pulsing up and down. Again, I'm looking very miserable here. I'm very sorry. Keep breathing, squeezing those stomach muscles. And then stretch that leg across. Give it a good stretch. And then we're going to start lifting the underneath leg. So yeah, like I said on the other side, this is a really good one for runners to target those adductors, get them nice and strong. That's usually where I tend to pick up little niggles when my legs are tired. So this is a really good one to avoid that. Good, lift that leg right up to the ceiling, and we're just holding it there. Deep breaths, keep it nice and high. Again, don't worry if you're shaking, it's normal. And then relax that leg down and back onto the back. Just tug the knees again, stretch it off, and we're going to go back into some core exercises here. So if we lift the neck and shoulders off again, we're going to do opposite arms and legs extended away. So keep that back flat on the mat. Pointed toes are optional. A lot of people in my class struggle with this from a coordination perspective. So it's just opposite arms and legs. Keeping that middle part of the back flat on the mat. If that back's coming off, just bring the legs and arms a little bit higher. Make sure we're breathing here. Holding everything nice and strong. Good. Think of the body really nice and long, so you're lengthening those arms and legs away from each other. And then take the hands behind the head. So we're going to do it, we're just literally twisting towards opposite leg, extending, so we're getting a nice rotation. Really twist round, breathe out on the twist. Breathe in as you come through the center, breathe out. Good, nice and slow and controlled. Really target those stomach muscles. Make sure we're breathing, keeping that back flat on the mat again. A few more each side and we're almost finished. And relax. Hug the knees to the chest and just rock from side to side. That was our last one. You can lengthen yourself nice and long if that feels better. And just start to roll yourself up one vertebra at a time until you're eventually sat up. So I hope you enjoyed that quick 10-12 minute, I guess I could say whole body, a lot of emphasis on core as Pilates should be, but that's just something that you can do at home, wherever you are really. As you can see, I did this in my bedroom featuring my little puppy. She's not a puppy at all, she's like 9. But yeah, let me know how you get on, let me know if you tried it, and if you want to see any more, then let me know.